Hi there, welcome to Nonsense Whisky. My name's VinPF, and on today's episode we've got a first entry into my August 3-year on YouTube celebration. Now if you caught my live stream fairly recently, I announced that it's my 3 years on YouTube in the whole of August. I don't really have a specific date, but I'm going to be doing some a little bit different stuff. There's going to be some normal reviews intertwined in it, but I'm going to do some things around the number 3 in different ways. Now today, I've got a Glengoyne sample room pack. Now the reason why I've chosen to do this is it's actually the third Scottish distillery I've ever been to, so it seems like a kind of tenuous link to the number 3. But when I did my recent trip to Glengoyne, which I'll put a link to up here, it really was my first kind of outwards vlog, so I'd love it if you go and check that one out. But I won tickets up to go and see Glengoyne through my local whisky club, the Birmingham Whisky Club. And part of that experience, I got to blend my own whiskey, which is usually a £100 masterclass on tour. So we got this little beauty, blended by me. Now, I had to get this into a case as well on the way home because I did fly up there, so that was interesting. But as part of it, unfortunately, I did film the event, but I lost all my footage. I was filming on my mobile at the time, and I lost all the footage, unfortunately, but I do have a photo of it, so I'll overlay that at some point during the video. But the result is this kind of little wee bottle here. I think it's about 200 mils, and you get some nice paperwork with it, which I'll get out as well. And as you can see by the picture, you get 5 whiskies to choose from, and you get to taste them all, and then you get to blend them. You blend them in a little glass first to decide your proportions, and then you just go nuts on it in this. And it was about an hour long. It was really good, really interesting vibe. I do blend my own whiskies at home a little bit, not a lot. I have an infinity bottle. Again, you should go and check out the link to that up there, my infinity bottle video. It's a pretty good video. But this is kind of what you get. You'll get a sheet of paper like this, washed out. There you go, you get a better view, which details each whiskey. And I'll tell you what we've got in here. We've got sample 1 was a refill ex-bourbon hogshead from January 2004. Then was a first fill American oak barrel from December 2004. Then a first fill American oak sherry puncheon from March 2000. Then a first fill European oak sherry puncheon from June 2001. And finally a first fill European oak sherry puncheon from July 1998. So that's a 20-year-old whiskey right there at the time. So as you can see, it's pretty dark. So you can imagine the kind of vibes I went in there. Now what they get you to do, hopefully you'll be able to see this as I bring this closer, you write down the percentages that you like on there. So for me, I went for 50% of sample 4, 20% of sample 5, so mostly, actually I think I went nearly all sherry. Only 20% of it was the first fill American oak. I didn't put any of the refill in there. I didn't want to put them all in there, that's why, so I just thought I'd go for it. So once you've decided all of that, you get this lovely piece of card which details all the stuff you've got in there. I should say as well, all of this is cask strength as well, so we had, in my bottle here, we've got 56.2, 57.5, 57, 56.6. So even with the larger majorities percentages, we're still going to be in the region of kind of 56, 57%, no matter what. Now, I should have poured this earlier to let it rest out a bit, but you know, this has been drank fairly steadily since I was down there. I'll pop this in my Aquavitae glass, underneath coin 133. If you're interested in that coin or any of the others, go and check out the description below for just how to get hold of them. I'll pop that over there. I mean, I really like this bottle as well. You can see the Glengoyne vibes off there. Now, I haven't covered too many Glengoynes on the channel. I've covered a couple, but I previously got quite a lot of sulphur on them, so I've been leaving them alone a little bit. But I have to say, having been up there, and I brought back a bottle of the Legacy as well, very impressed with their facility. It's obviously very old. They do things very traditionally, whereas some of the newer distilleries we've got are kind of breaking into those kind of new engineering vibes. Let's have a look at this and see exactly what this tastes. So this isn't really a review per se, but more of a kind of shared experience, so you can live it vicariously through me. I should go on about the colour really. I mean, that's a pretty dark colour. That's all natural coloured, non-chill filtered goodness. Now on the nose, it's really heavy with brown sugar for me. Lots of treacle, lots of raisins. No sulphur at all. Really nice nose. I could just get lost in that. There's probably 100 more tasting notes you'd want to pull out of it, but you've really got to sit down with something like this. Let me try on the palate. Now, there is that kind of high ABV about it, but it's not so in your face. I guess if you weren't used to it, it might be a bit more. But for me, there's a lot of sweetness there. It isn't overly sickly, it isn't overly sweet. Extremely viscous, really nice and thick, and it's all these kind of sweet sugars, brown sugars. Kind of a weird chocolatey vibe there. It's a bit more like dark chocolatey, and a load more dried fruits than you would expect to get from the kind of sherryness. The finish isn't overly long, to be fair, probably about medium-y, but it's got this really nice kind of treacly dried fruits finish at the end. That's it's just like a really understated sherry. It looks like it might be a sherry bomb, but it really isn't. But for me, that's absolutely astounding. Really happy with that, and it probably tastes just nice because I made it, basically. Sure, I didn't make the liquid, but the blending is a fine art, and we could really tell the difference when we added different proportions. I tried 2 different mixes, and my 2 whiskies were very different at the end of it. So it was a good experience overall. I'm not sure I could have ever spent £100 on the experience, to be honest, but that's just because I don't sort of have that money sitting around just to kind of blow on an hour's worth of blending. But it was an excellent experience, and if I ever do find I have that money lying around, I will gladly go and do more stuff like that. Like my local distillery, the Cotswolds, have just started doing a similar experience. Obviously, they're not going to have stuff like 20-year-old whiskies yet, but still, the point is there, and it's a nice little thing to do if you're into that sort of thing and a kind of next level up. So if you've done your tours, you've maybe even done like an advanced tour where you try some more whiskies at the end, or maybe even a kind of barrel pick yourself. We managed to do that as well. It was really good. This is your kind of next level, you know, your proper tutored blending workshop. You know, you're not just paying for the whiskey. Obviously, you could say £100 is quite a lot of money for that, but you're paying for the person's time, the environment you were in. We were in this really nice tasting room looking over the distillery. Really nice stuff. But there you go. That's my first August 3-year video. Got a lot of good stuff coming up. If you're interested in more about what I'm going to be doing, go and check out that live stream I was talking about earlier. It's only an hour long rather than the kind of big live streams, so it's very digestible. Maybe even podcast it on your earphones or something like that. See you on the next video. Hi there. Oh.